You feel it, don't you? That thin, trembling line you're trying to balance on. Nice but not naive, ambitious but not aggressive, patient but not passive. You've been told there's virtue in the middle. Compromise, moderation, blend in, keep peace, wait your turn. And yet, somewhere between the second chance you gave and the boundary you didn't set, something inside you softened into silence. You woke up one day and realized the negotiations you thought were with the world were actually with your own fear. You are not stuck because you lack potential. You are stuck because you keep choosing the middle where no real choice exists. This is the part where it gets uncomfortable. Machiavelli, yes, the one whose name people misuse as if he worshipped cruelty, was not preaching villainy. He was diagnosing reality. In Renaissance Florence, power wasn't a seminar. It was blood, exile, and the tremor of a door that might not open again. He wrote of virtù, not virtue as niceness, but as disciplined force, the capacity to act decisively under pressure, to shape events rather than be shaped by them. He studied fortuna, fortune, the chaos of life, and said bluntly, "If you do not seize her, she will seize you." There is no safe middle, there is only the clarity to move or the comfort that breaks you. Listen closely. This is not a call to be cruel to others. It is a call to be ruthless with your own illusions. Think of the last time you postponed a hard decision. You told yourself you were gathering information, waiting for the right moment. But delay isn't neutrality, it's drift. While you stood still, your fear negotiated on your behalf. The status quo won. Your mind spun elegant reasons to defend the inaction, cognitive dissonance dressed as prudence. You protected a self-image, fair, balanced, kind, and traded away momentum. That's the middle. It feels polite. It costs you years. Machiavelli's most misunderstood advice was this: be the lion and the fox. The lion for strength, the fox for cunning. Translate it into your life. Be clear when it's time to set the line. Be creative when obstacles appear, and never confuse softness with goodness or timidity with peace. A lion that refuses to roar invites the hunt. A fox that refuses to think becomes prey. Your life asks for both. Let's make this concrete. There is a project you know you must build. It keeps appearing in quiet moments, on commutes, in showers, in the hollow ache after scrolling ends. You don't move because you're waiting for a sign, a partner, approval. You are collecting resources. That sounds responsible, but responsibility without decision is a mask for avoidance. Machiavelli would ask, where is your lever? What can you control today that shifts tomorrow? Not in theory, today. Virtù is not a mood. It is a schedule, a script, a meeting you put on the calendar, a prototype you show even when it's ugly, a boundary you deliver without apology. You fear being seen as harsh, so you contort yourself into compliance, performing agreeableness like a quiet tax. You forgive offenses that haven't even happened yet, just to keep the surface smooth. But what appears like kindness is often a trade. You offer your time, energy, and dignity in exchange for what exactly? Peace? Or just the absence of confrontation? The first builds trust. The second breeds resentment. Your silence is not a buffer. It is a promise you make to your own shadow. I will ignore you a little longer. Please don't revolt. Here is the twist. The ruthlessness required is inward, not toward people, toward your excuses. Be ruthless with the narrative that you don't know enough. You don't need total knowledge. You need contact with reality. Ship something small and let feedback burn away what's false. Be ruthless with the fantasy of a frictionless path. Friction is not the sign of being off course. It is the course. Be ruthless with your calendar. What you keep says more about your future than what you claim. If it's not on the calendar, it is not a priority. It's a wish. Be ruthless with your boundaries. The person who never hears no from you is the person quietly writing your story. Machiavelli's Florence was a storm. Yours is a subtler weather. Algorithms engineered to anesthetize, social cues rewarding mildness, advice that smuggles paralysis under the banner of balance. You don't need to become a tyrant. You need to become a steward of your own agency. That means designing constraints that force decisions, a weekly review with real metrics, a deadline with social accountability, a budget that makes you choose, a rule to cut meetings that don't move the needle, a script for hard conversations so you stop improvising apologies. Consider this scenario. You are offered an opportunity that flatters your ego but dilutes your aim. It pays. It looks good. It keeps you in the room. The middle says yes because saying no might disappoint people and remove you from a path that feels safe. The clear choice asks a brutal question. Does this move compound toward what I say I want? If not, decline. Every yes is 1,000 hidden no's. If you don't choose them, they choose you. Another. Someone repeatedly crosses a line. You rationalize. They are stressed. They didn't mean it. It's not the right moment to address it. The middle whispers, keep the peace. Clarity states the boundary exactly once, enforces it exactly once, and acts accordingly. Not with rage, with consequence. That is not cruelty. That is leadership of your own life. People respect what you consistently reinforce. They doubt what you inconsistently tolerate. There's a psychological reason the middle seduces you. The sunk cost fallacy persuades you to continue because you've already invested. Loss aversion tells you to avoid the pain of change rather than pursue the possibility of gain. And learned helplessness, born of repeated frustrations, teaches your nervous system that effort is pointless. All of these form a soft prison. Machiavelli would have recognized the architecture, not one iron door, but a series of velvet ropes, comfortable, almost luxurious, and entirely binding. So, how do you step out? First, name the arena. Not everything is war, not everything is peace. There are 3 arenas: craft, relationships, and self-governance. In your craft, be relentless with standards and iteration. Publish, test, refine, repeat. In your relationships, be generous with grace, but not at the expense of your dignity. Listen deeply, but do not negotiate your values. In self-governance, replace mood-based systems with rule-based ones. Morning commitments, keystone habits, checklists that survive your worst day. You are not above systems. You are freed by them. Second, decide on your principle of power. Power here does not mean domination. It means the reliable capacity to get meaningful things done without self-betrayal. 3 sentences can change the architecture of your days. I do not confuse comfort with safety. Comfort calms, safety protects. Choose what protects your future self, not what smooths your present moment. I am kind in intention and exact in boundary. Kindness without boundaries is self-erasure. Boundaries without kindness is brittle control. You need both the fox's tact and the lion's clarity. I trade popularity for respect when I must. The middle seeks to be universally liked. Clarity seeks to be reliably understood. Third, accept the cost. Machiavelli didn't pretend decisions were cheap. When you stop pretending the middle exists, you will lose certain invitations, especially the kind that valued your compliance. You will be called intense. You will be told to relax. You will be misunderstood by those who benefited from your previous softness. This is the price of alignment. Pay it once, own the return forever. There's a story you need to retire, that your life will change when others behave better, when they call back, see your worth, finally give you permission. That's the passive timeline. It is elegant fiction. The active timeline begins when you do the thing that terrifies you because it ends the confusion. You have that conversation. You delete the half-commitments that siphon your creative oxygen. You stop training people to expect you will rescue their chaos. You build the version of you that keeps promises to yourself. But wait, what about compassion? Doesn't clarity harden the heart? Only if wielded as a weapon. Compassion and clarity are not rivals, they are twins. Compassion sees the human. Clarity protects the human. starting with you. Machiavelli's lion and fox are crude if you forget the third animal, the shepherd. Guard what matters, guide what wavers. But when wolves circle, you do not negotiate, you stand. If you fear that ruthlessness will turn you into someone you're not, redefine the word. Be ruthless with distractions, not with people. Be ruthless with procrastination, not with tenderness. Be ruthless with systems that profit from your confusion. Be ruthless with a culture that rewards your silence and punishes your sovereignty. And be relentlessly gentle with anyone, including yourself, who is trying, failing, and trying again. There is a moment, inevitable and non-dramatic, when your life pivots. The morning you feel the same fear you felt yesterday and move anyway. You send the pitch. You walk away from the flattering detour. You set the price that reflects the value, not the anxiety. You rewrite the script for your day to fit your mission, not everyone else's calendar. No trumpet sounds, no spotlight falls. But somewhere in the quiet arithmetic of character, a new baseline locks in. You cannot be bought as cheaply by comfort anymore. In that moment, fortune changes texture. She does not become tame, chaos doesn't retire, but she does become graspable. You are no longer asking, will the world allow me? You are asking, what must I build so that even if the world resists, I remain? That is Virtu, your disciplined force, meeting Fortuna without apology. So, here is your test, delivered without drama but with precision. Before you sleep tonight, choose one place where you've been bargaining with the middle. Declare the decision in writing. Not a paragraph, one sentence. Put it where you cannot ignore it. Then make one move that burns the bridge to your old indecision. Commit publicly, transfer the meeting, delete the escape hatch, or invest money in the version of you that must now show up. Not reckless, irreversible. You will feel grief. You are not just leaving a habit. You are burying a persona, the agreeable diplomat who thought that they could appease the storm. Let them go. Thank them for getting you this far. Then step into the weather with a different posture. Lion when it is time to draw the line, fox when it is time to navigate the maze, shepherd when it is time to care for the souls entrusted to you, including your own. There is no safe middle. There never was. There is only the soft surrender that breaks you slowly, or the relentless clarity that rebuilds you honestly. You do not need a throne to practice power. You need a spine to practice truth. Choose now, not because the world is watching, but because the part of you that has been watching quietly for years deserves to see you become the person who finally stops negotiating with fear. And when you do, the world will not suddenly become kind, but it will become clear. And clarity, in a life like yours, is the most merciful form of strength there is.